right.
Right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
For those who are moving about the cabin and whatnot, please enjoy yourself. It's okay. Take your time. Get what you got to get. Feel at ease. I myself was moving a little bit late, so we like to be on time. Brother B got on me about being on time. so we make our intentions to do so, inshallah. Let's begin with dua.
Yes, sir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen. In the simple English translation, that is, praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship, thine aid we seek. Show us the straight path, the path of which you bestowed your grace, not the path of those who have earned your anger, nor of those that have gone astray. Ameen.
Amen.
And with that said, we're going to talk about a little bit about the Fatiha, inshallah. Our discussion derives from the Al-Fatiha. For those who are looking to learn about the essentials of Islam, you've come on a good day. Because today we're going to talk about a principle called Aqidah. Aqidah, hold on one second. Here we go. And before we do, I want to start with a simple narration that I'm going to tell you. Okay, Aqidah. Does anybody know what the word Aqidah means?
It means
refresh our minds.
Okay, just checking to see. Okay, so the word Aqidah, you may hear it in Islam. It refers to Islamic creed or the Islamic belief system.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all. Simple. This Aqidah refers to the Islamic belief system. And Al-Fatiha, when we say Al-Fatiha, we're actually asking Allah to guide us on the way of those who have the correct belief system versus those who have an incorrect belief system. But the Al-Fatiha directs you towards why they have that. And today we're going to talk about how Muslims develop an incorrect belief system, and we're going to work on developing a correct belief system. All right. So, and then I want to begin by telling you a little story about a former group of Muslims who came about in Islam. So imagine this for a second. The year is 1400 years ago, 37 years after the hijrah of the Prophet. The desert night, it's nighttime in the desert, and the Muslims are encamped. They can smell the dust in the air, and they can still smell the smell of battle that had taken place that day. Torches flicker against the canvas of tents, and inside one of them sits Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu. So Ali was the nephew of the Prophet. He was the cousin of the Prophet, and they called him the Lion of Allah. And at this time, he's the Khalif. He had inherited the leadership of Islam. He had become the leader of the believers, the commander of the believers.
How many years was this after the Prophet?
This is probably 20 years after the Prophet. This is probably about 23 or so years after his death.
Okay.
So that was
so he was the
This
third.
is 37. So the Prophet died 10 years after the Hijrah, and so this would be about 17 years. 27. This will be about 27.
So he would be the third Caliph.
Yes.
Okay.
No, Ali was the fourth Khalif.
So after the Prophet.
Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali.
So all them they didn't last too much long.
Right. Abu Bakr lasted 6 months. Omar lasted 2 years. Uthman lasted, I'm not sure how long it lasted. I think he lasted at least a year or so, a couple of years. I'm not sure how long he lasted. I think he lasted the longest because he was able to send many Qur'ans out to the world. And then Ali came. But Ali experienced the first fitna of Muslims battling one another. And this arose from their essential belief system. And this is where we're going today.
So that was 2 lines of Allah.
Listen. They called him the lion of the lion of Allah. This is one of his nicknames.
Yeah, but I mean Hamza was too.
Yes.
He was the first one.
Yes.
I'm just asking because
yes.
You said lion of Allah. Well, my mind
Go to Hamza, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So,
and about this time Hamza's gone, right?
This
is later on. Okay. So he was one of those promised Jannah by the Prophet. And being, he should be happy at this time. But instead, he's sitting and he's reading these letters that come from those who are rebelling against the Muslim people. They're not rebelling. He's not reading letters that have threats from the Romans or from the Persians, but actually from the Muslims themselves, who are angry with him. A strange new movement has appeared amongst the believers for the first time. It's a movement of Muslims that's so strict that they call themselves the pure ones, al-shurat, that have sold themselves completely to Allah. They recite the Quran beautifully, but they understood it terribly. Yeah. They lacked understanding of the Quran, right? They were once his own soldiers who supported him. They were his students. Some had been his friends, but now their eyes were burning with extremism and anger. And they chanted over and over, judgment only belongs to Allah. Judgment only belongs to Allah, which sounds beautiful. Mm-hmm. Ali looks at them with sorrow, not anger, and his words echo through history. His words, he says, this is a word of truth by which falsehood is intended. Yes, Allah is the judge. But the way they said it had a sense, implied something else, because these men who prayed all night, fasted all day, recited the Quran till their throats hurt, were now pointing their swords at the very people who taught them the religion. How does this happen? They believed they were saving the Ummah, but in fact they were tearing it apart. They believed they were defending the Quran, but in fact they were misusing the Quran. They believed they were on the right path, but in fact they had broken away. And the name that they became known as in Islam is the Khawarij.
What is it?
The Khawarij.
Khawarij.
Khawarij. It comes from the word kharaju. Kharaju. It means to break away from something. So we always thought the Shia, right? You always hear the Shia, you hear this these days. But actually there was an earlier movement of Muslims who rose up as a deviant sect, and they were very pious. And this is why I want to talk about them a little bit today. And I want to talk about what happened to them more than themselves. This is the first deviant sect in Islam. It's the first group that spilled Muslim blood. The Khawarij are the first group of people who rose up and killed other Muslims. So up to this point, Muslims had not fought each other. They had only fought either people trying to assume to say themselves were the prophet. They stopped those people. Or they were fighting the Romans or the Persians that were coming into their country to take their territory. But they did not fight one another. Their story is not ancient. It's a warning. It's a mirror. It's a reflection of what can happen when we do not have proper understanding of our basic beliefs. And that's what I want to talk about today. Okay. Aqidah is important because Aqidah, the right Aqidah, it comes from the word ukhd. Ukhd, we mentioned it in our Quranic study a while back, which comes from the word to be tied to something, a knot. The word contract comes from this, the word contract. One of today's purpose is, before we begin, I want to start a series of that deals with the essential beliefs of Islam, an Aqidah series, because we were talking about the signs of judgment, we were talking about the Antichrist, but if you jump into those really, that's like going to the book of Revelations before you read Genesis. There we go. Right? If you gave someone a Bible, they jump to Genesis and they start, Revelations. They jump to Revelations. They start reading on that. Are they really going to understand what this means?
No.
They need to start with the proper understanding what led up to this point.
Yes.
Likewise, when we were talking about the Dajjal, the signs of judgment, the major signs, the Mahdi, well, that will make more sense if you have proper understanding of where it fits into our Akidah,
Right.
where it fits into our creed. Does that make sense, brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
Rather than jumping right into that, which I'd love to do. That is part of a bigger conversation, okay? And I'll tell you where it comes from. It comes from the hadith of Jibreel, who came to the prophet one day in front of the people, and we know this, those who have been Muslim, and I'm not going to tell detail for detail because we're going to study this hadith, but this hadith outlines Islamic creed. Basically, what is Islam? What is Iman? What is Ihsan?
Right.
Okay? But today I want to talk a little bit about how people actually, the importance of Islam, of having the right belief. This is what we're talking about. Having the right understanding of your religion so that people can't make you go kill your brother. People can't make you break away from the religion. Or, got worse, go start your own. If Shaitan is deceiving the people while they think they are guided, how do we then protect ourselves? If we think we have the right understanding, how do we protect ourselves from being misguided? In Al-Fatiha asks for two things, and I talked about this in my khutbah. It says, we say, show us the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed what?
Your grace.
Right. Who is that? Who are the people whom Allah has bestowed His grace upon?
The believers.
Yes, the believers. And
The
prophets.
Actually,
prophets.
everybody.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Gets his
Right.
mercy.
But in Al-Fatiha, who are we saying? We're referring to a group of people. We're referring to the prophet, really.
Yes.
Right.
The most guided.
Yes.
Show us of the most blessed, the most guided. Who are the most guided amongst humanity? The prophets.
Right. That's
Okay.
Right.
And who's guided after the prophets?
The believers.
Those who followed the prophets, their
Right.
disciples.
Yeah.
And amongst them the believers, mashallah. Okay, so this is who we're asking to show us the way of these people whom you blessed. Not the way of those other ones who we talked to as makhdubi. Khayr al-makhdubi comes from the word khadaba, which means anger, frustration, rage, fiery, right?
Right.
He's angry with these people. Why? Well, who would you usually identify the makhdubi with?
Go straight. Those who believed and then went away.
Those who disbelieve from the storm.
Yeah.
We usually the Jewish people, right?
Right.
We use often
Okay.
we will identify them with the Jewish people because we're given so many examples in Quran
Yeah.
Right.
where they disobeyed Allah over and over and over and over again.
Right.
They're walking. Look, they're starving in the desert. He sends them manna. He sends them quail.
Right.
They don't have any water. He sends them water from a rock.
Yeah.
They don't have any light. They're freezing at night. He sends them a fiery pillar. They're burning in the day. He sends them. You see, he solves all their problems.
Yeah.
He manifests himself.
Yeah.
But this proves the point that the more Allah tries to prove himself to you, the less the individual even believes. True knowledge negates the need for faith. In Islam is a faith-based religion.
Right.
Like once you see Allah or the angels, there's no more faith involved. The Jews saw and it diminished their faith. The more they saw, the more their faith was diminished until he didn't even let them go into the promised land. This is how bad it got. That some of them reverted to idolatry even.
Yeah.
So he became angry with these people. They know this, they see the sign, they know the sign, and they just do the opposite for whatever reason. Different motivations. Okay. But there's another group of people, and he mentions it at the end of Al-Fatiha. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Those who go astray.
You notice the emphasis on that last part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't say maghdubi.
Yeah.
He just said maghdubi. I don't worry much about them. But these over here, now those I really am concerned about.
Those who come in and then leave.
They love me, they think they love me right, and they love me all the wrong way. They love me so much, they're killing their brother. They love me so much, these individuals who we're talking about, the Khawarij, we're going to talk about them a little bit more. They love Allah so much that they constantly washed and bathed themselves to. He's just checking.
Yeah.
They constantly washed and bathed themselves to. They did nothing other than worship. Okay, but and we'll see. We're going to talk about. Let me not jump ahead of myself. Okay, so people do not just fall into misguidance. This is the key. This is where we're going. The straight path becomes clear, and people do not just simply fall into misguidance. What did the prophet say about what would happen to his ummah after he left? Does anybody know what he said would happen to his ummah? One of the major things he said. Let me share with you real quick. Okay, here we go. They asked him about some of what would happen in the future. And one of the things that he said about his ummah was this. And I don't even think I actually have it memorized. I just wanted to quote it correctly when I read it. Here we go. He said, my ummah will face what the children of Israel faced step by step. So whatever the Jews face, we will face. Until one of them is engaged, he even goes in. If the Jewish person goes with his mother, then my ummah will follow him going with his mother. There will be one from my nation who will engage just likewise. So whatever the worst behavior you can think of, these people, my people will follow them in this. The children of Israel will split into 72 sects. The children of Israel will split into 72 sects, and my nation will split into 73 sects. And there's another one that says the children of Israel, the Christians will split into 70, the Jews will split into 71, the Christians will split into 72, and the Muslims will split into 73. What does that mean? And this is what he did. It says he drew a line. And from the line, he drew other lines leading up until he did 73. And he said, all of these will end in the hellfire except one. Which is that one? Which one doesn't end in the hellfire? The straight one. The straight one. All of the paths, all of the isms, and this is where we're coming at. We don't want to get into the isms. My most difficult, I do a lot of work in the prisons. And my most difficult things with these brothers, they have so many books to read. And they're often all of the isms. Oh. And I don't want to use any names because you brothers know what I'm talking about. So the isms mean other than al-Islam, other than the Quran and Sunnah. Okay? Right. The isms, meaning this ism, that ism. There's a lot of them. And I'm going to mention a little bit, but I'm going to mention in context of the study. So the straight path is the Quran and his Sunnah, and all of these other ones are deviations away from it. And all of those will end in the hellfire except that one. When he said 73, 71, 72, and 73, he's essentially saying the Christians will have a lot, the Jews will have a lot, the Christians will have more, and mine will have the most. That the Muslims will see extreme deviations in their time. So he's preparing the Muslims for what happened, and it happened. It happened within the lifetime of Aisha. It happened within the lifetime of Ali. They saw it happen. They did everything they could to prevent it, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today because it's a lot of history. All right, here we go. So people do not just fall into deviations. It happens step by step, a little bit over time. Questions so far about anything I said?
Yeah,
Come on, brother.
That's what you speaking about, different books and stuff like that. I think you also have to watch the hadiths too.
That's a different discussion. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. We're going to talk about that. You're right. You're right. Yes. So there's a methodology. So we have a methodology by which we solve problems and answer questions in Islam. Okay?
But we're seeing a lot of that today. Today, like I remember after Iraq, after we went into Iraq and took out Saddam Hussein,
Mm-hmm.
then you start seeing, I guess they call themselves Muslims, but I seen men beating women because I don't know the reason why, but I'm thinking because from my studies in some of the Muslim countries, women can't go out unless they got a man with them. Like downtown. So
Yeah.
3 or 4 women, they down there by themselves, and they don't have a man as a protector. So here's a group of men with sticks, and they beating on these women.
That's not in the hadith anyway, right?
No, I'm talking about something I've seen on the news.
Yeah.
But I'm relating it to what you're saying about the different groups going astray. Quran say Surah Baqarah 256.
Mhm.
There's no what's the word it's over the sea? No compulsion
No
in
compulsion
religion.
in religion, right?
So why you beating on these women? Because
Right.
they down there by themselves. I mean that's just one example.
You're talking about
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Let's get on because we could ruminate on the problems of the Islamic world forever and ever and ever. I want to ruminate on the problem. Ruminate means think about and discuss.
Right. Okay.
I want to ruminate on our issues. I want us to understand how do people get off the right understanding? Are they ever even on the right understanding?
Right.
How do we get on the right understanding and then not get untied from that? And there's a process. It's an intellectual process. This is what Imam W.D. Muhammad is actually teaching us. He's teaching us to approach the religion with your intellect, not with your emotions.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about the intellectual process that he's referring to. Okay? So it's a thinking method. Let me ask you a question. If Allah, and that's not to negate what you were saying, brother. We can actually come back to that a little bit more, but I don't want to. I just got a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
And I'm on live.
Yeah.
I'm on live. And they can't hear you as well as I can hear you. Okay. If Allah made the straight path clear, why do people deviate? If he made truth clear, it says in Quran, indeed, truth is clear from falsehood. Why do people get off of, go wrong? Why do they end up, and we know they deviate because why?
Comfort, ego, pride.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Brother nailed it. He knocked it down. What were you going to say, Nancy? Same thing?
Comfort,
Okay.
ego, pride.
Pride. What was the first one, brother? Comfort.
Mm-hmm.
They become comfortable.
We think it's more comfortable.
Can you elaborate just on that piece of it?
That comfort, like you say, when you get in a certain position in life, like I say, you comfort. You know what I'm saying?
And you're happy with what you know.
Yeah, you comfortable where you been grown.
Yeah.
And I guess you feel that you don't need to grow no more, and so you stuck right there. Yeah, but again, the beauty again goes back to understanding the essential. What we've been studying on the prophet is you find out you have so much to grow, but we get comfortable where we ain't grown and thinking that's it, and because we think that we get blind to the fact that we have so much more potential, but we don't understand that.
There we go. That's it.
I think in Islam, you can't just say I believe and sit back and sit down. You got to put work. You got to put in actual work. There's things we have to do. Every day.
Yes.
And a lot of people, I guess, would say they can't do that. Make the 5 prayers, do Ramadan, go to Hajj, stuff like that.
What makes all that easy, brother?
Makes it easy?
What makes that easy for some people and difficult for others?
Well, your belief. You got
Your belief in the strength of the commitment to the belief.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to start questioning yourself. me and the brother was talking, and it made so much sense. We was talking about another situation, but I put it in this perspective for toward Allah. Do you love Allah or is you loyal to Allah? Because somebody can still love you and still mistreat you at the same time.
Yeah.
But that loyalty,
Yeah.
they'll never mistreat you. They're gonna always be loyal to you. That's how a lot of us got caught up in trouble with back in the day, because we didn't understand the difference between loyal and love. And we put our loyalty into the wrong thing, and it deviated us to that wrong way of life. You know what I'm saying? Until we figured out, let's start becoming loyal to the one who created us, and look how it brought us and grown us.
But it's hard to be loyal to someone you don't love. You know, if you don't love Allah, it's going to be very difficult for you to be loyal to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to have that love and the fear. You know, that if I don't do this, like miss a couple of prayers.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time for Easter, but I got to make up Asa and Margaret, and it's sometimes, you know, depending on your physical shape right that minute, it's hard to, you know, make up 3 prayers. I got to do 4 rak'ahs, then another 4, then 3, then 4.
Yeah.
And so, you know, sometimes it's hard, you know, but if you love Allah, you feel Allah, if I don't do this, you know, this gonna be against me. So I got to. And you go ahead and do it. You know.
Yeah. You know what? You made a good point, brother. That there's a mutual in love. It's a back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So we do these things because we love Allah more so than we think He's just going to like hurt us or punish us, but also because we love Allah. We don't want to. If I say I pray 5 times a day, I want to get my 5 times a day.
Right. Yeah.
You know, if I say I'm with my wife, I'm with my wife. Right? I'm not like all, and that's the same with Allah. You know, if we say.
If I pray 5, I want the credit for the 50.
Allahu Akbar. There you go. Okay, so good. Here we go. Why do people deviate? And brothers hit it.
Yeah.
Brothers mentioned. We deviate. People deviate for pride, politics, ignorance goes with the comfortability, meaning like you learn you went to school, whatever. You learn what you learned, and then now you don't crack a book no more. You're like, I got it. I don't need to go to class no more. I don't need to go to Juma, whatever. Okay, so ultimately, it is the shaitan that makes these type of behaviors seem alluring. Let me see. And here, let me share some of these. So the shaitan, the Quran tells us that ultimately it's the shaitan that is that element that beautifies disbelief and this bad behavior in the Muslim's mind. Here are some verses that speak to that. Allah says, and do not follow the footsteps of the shaitan. Indeed, he is a avowed enemy. In another verse, he says, shaitan threatens you with poverty and orders you to immorality. He threatens you with poverty. That's that. I got to get it. I got to get mine. Money all the time. Like, you know, that's that material. I have to put everything, all I got, into getting money and getting wealth. And if I don't do it, he threatens you with poverty. It's not even actual poverty. It's just the threat of poverty. The threat of poverty. And Satan wishes to lead them, mankind, far astray. Ad-dallin ba'id. وَيُرِيدُ الشَّيْطَانَ أَنْ يُضِلُّهُمْ ضَلَالًا بَعِيد. He leads to make them stray, ضَلَالًا بَعِيد. Like, far away. They're not just a little lost. They're way off. Yeah. Way off. If you are fighting your Muslim brother, you're way off. Particularly if you both consider yourselves believers. Like you 2 praying people, 2 fasting people, 2 coming to the masjid, Juma people, or a group that goes back to core beliefs. That goes back to your core beliefs. What do you really believe about the religion at its core? So this is what the author of this compilation, this is a compilation of hadiths and sayings of the Prophet, says. He says, when the devil suggests to a human to do something, then the person must be extremely cautious with what goes on in his mind. Can we tell when the shaitan is talking in our head? Can anybody tell?
Yeah.
Thank you. I was hoping like, what the-
It sounds like you, but it's not.
Thank you. Allahu Akbar. Say that again, brother.
It sounds like you, but it's not you.
It sounds like you, but it's not you.
And he's smooth. He cool too. He even in your mind, you make him select.
Yeah.
He get in there and anything to distract you from
remember
concentrating on
Alhamdulillah.
You got to learn how to throw
You
that away.
but it's
What do we do when we start to hear this suggestion?
yes.
Say subhanallah, dhikr.
Yes.
What are some other things? What if you're in the heat of the moment?
Allahu Akbar.
So you know he knows when to come at you, right?
Yeah.
Like he knows when to tip it on over. He lets you push it up the hill, but Okay, let's keep going. Alhamdulillah.
And that's everybody.
All right, we're getting there. So let's talk a little bit more about the Khawarij and how they began to deviate, how they began to break away. This started actually in the time of the Prophet, and I want to share this hadith with you real quick, because it demonstrates an attitude by which these people behaved. Okay. Or better yet, I just tell it from my memory. So the Prophet ﷺ was sitting one day with his companions, and he received some gold, which he was to distribute to the people. And so he began to distribute the gold to the people. As he was distributing the gold, some of the companions saw him and said, aren't we better than them? Because the people who the Prophet was giving the gold to had fought against them in war. And so this is towards the end. And the Prophet, why did the Prophet give people gold? Why did he give them camels? Why did you hear stories about him giving the enemies of Islam gifts?
Probably to soften their hearts and see if they can convert, not like become one day better than what they are.
Perfect. And when the Prophet, this got back to the Prophet. He didn't say it to the Prophet. It got back to the Prophet. When the Prophet found out that they had said this, he went to them and said, am I not the one who receives the truth from Allah day and night, and I give it to you? And so they were accepting of that. But another one stood up later on as he continued and stood up and he said, oh Muhammad, be just. And so this was something different. This person stood up, and it said that this man who stood up, that he was very disheveled, that he had marks of prostration kind of ground excessively onto his head. And he told Muhammad to be just, and then he left. And the Prophet said, from this man will arise a group of people who will recite the Quran so beautifully. He said that he will make your recitation look bad. They will pray so much that they will make your prayer look bad. Look like your prayer, you're not even that much, they will fast so intensely that they will make your fast look like it's like you don't really fast. And these people will go through the religion the way an arrow goes through a hair. They will enter the religion and they will leave out of the religion. That's how quickly. Why? Who were these people? These people were the Khawarij that I'm speaking about, that rose up against Ali. They excessively, but there was something about them that they did. One of the things that they would accuse other Muslims of being kafir. We call it takfir. And if you accuse a Muslim of being a kafir, you know what that means, right? Like you don't owe him nothing. This is the psychology. So this is why we say don't say what of a person. The worst thing to do that a Muslim ever can do is to call another Muslim a kafir. This is really, really tough. This is really bad.
What's the definition of that?
The basic definition means
Just
it
believe
means to cover. The word kuf means to cover, but kufar means to like cover with disbelief.
Right.
And so it indicates, and religiously speaking, it means a disbeliever. Kafirun, kafir.
Yeah.
Takfir is to accuse someone of disbelief, and we don't do that. And we don't do that. That's like we're students of the religion.
Right.
We're students of the religion. We're not share. We don't run a country. Maybe if you run a country or something, you might have a position where you might have to do something like this, fight against invaders or something. But we are just regular people. So going around and accusing people, Allah's prophet said, he who says of another person, you are a disbeliever, it will become true of him.
Brother Matt, would you call a Christian a kafir?
No. I would not call anybody really a kafir because I don't know what's in their heart.
Right.
That's the first step. The first step, we don't know what's in their heart. Why do we need to call anybody a kafir?
Yeah.
That's the first question. Like, why do I need to call? We get angry, or he's bad.
Yeah.
They're protest. They're burning Qur'ans in front of the masjid. They're protest. They want us out.
Yeah.
I want to call them kafir, but I still don't really know what's in their heart. I just know their actions. I know their actions, right? So I have to be very careful. Be very careful. Be very careful.
Who was the law?
That doesn't mean we ain't gonna call the cops and get our people to run these people off. Okay, but accusing a person of disbelief. This is the key here. That's something that happened in Islam where groups of Muslims would accuse other Muslims of being disbelievers, and now guess what you could do to them? Whatever you want, because they don't fall under Islam. So that's brotherly. Excuse me, hold on. I'm sorry, Brother Bilal.
I was just saying because again, you can go back to what we were saying in the beginning. About the 71 different sets and the 72 and the 73 sets, right?
Right.
Because again, you have already different sets, but again, like you say, each one of them had a straight. You know what I'm saying? So each one of them started, so you don't know again. That's why I say you don't know what's in their heart.
Don't know what's in their heart.
And so again, you can't assume they're part of one of those sets. You don't know. You know, and then like I said, because I've seen brothers that do that. You call these people Catholics, but why are you still doing business with them then? You still eating off their fat.
Kafir is like saying he's an enemy.
Yeah.
And I can kill him.
Yeah, but you still doing business with these people.
When you say that, because Islamically speaking, when you go into the history of Islam, you look and you see that's what they did. They would start accusing a group of being kafir. Usually they're actually Muslim group. In fact, they're not even some other people. They're one of us. And it creates this conflict that we see to this very day.
Yeah.
We see it to this very day. Okay. Let's keep going. All right. So these individuals, why would they do stuff like this? This comes back to, as the prophet said, the Quran did not go past their throats. And this is where we don't want to be. We don't want to be people where the Quran doesn't go past our throat. We recite it beautifully, yet when you look at us and our behavior, it does not match the beautiful flowing words of the Quran. That's what this is about. Brother Bilal, I think you had to say something, and go ahead, please.
Okay. Surah 109. Yeah, you have Kafirun.
Right.
You who reject faith. I worship not that which you worship, nor you worship which I worship. So who was he talking about?
Good point. Beautiful point. Now, kafirs do exist.
Yeah.
Kufr is a state of the soul.
Okay.
It's a state of the heart, and it can be actions. It can be kufr. Actions can be kufr. That verse was talking about the Makkans at the time of the Prophet, who were pure. We consider them to be pure kafirs. Pure. Meaning what?
Yeah.
Meaning he could fight them, and he did. He did fight them.
Right.
They slaughtered one another. Once he put them under the veil of kufar, basically you're an enemy of the religion.
Right.
They're enemies of the religion. Now, in this situation, this was where the prophet was still making peace, and so he was saying, to you be your way, to me be mine.
Right.
Just leave me alone, I'll leave you alone.
Yes.
But it didn't work out that way. We know that ultimately they had to fight. But yes, so the first thing a Muslim should always do, a believer should always do, is to seek some type of what do we compromise where we can work together in the tolerance. Right. To you be your way, to me be mine. That's called tolerance. We're tolerating each other.
In the situation which you was talking about, these people weren't, they hadn't declared any Shahada.
Those people.
Right.
Right.
No, they had
weren't
not
Muslim,
declared
right.
any Shahada.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Yeah.
You talking about
These
people
people,
that had declared
yes,
Shahada.
these
even
are
though-
intense Muslim.
Yeah.
These are like what I just said. They'll make your prayer look like you ain't praying. They'll make your fast look like you're not fasting. They're so extreme and excessive. So this is one side of the spectrum. This is people that come with excessive zeal in the religion, but what it really does is it takes them out of the religion.
Yeah.
We know that we call this extremism today.
Yeah.
We're talking about how, have you ever not wondered how those people got like that? How did they go from being a Muslim that prays to being a Muslim that commits these type of behaviors? It starts with one's belief system, your core inner belief system, your Aqidah. And we're going to talk about Aqidah for about 8 weeks. Inshallah, we'll have a series of lectures.
Okay.
And we're going to get into the prayer, the depths of the prayer, the Shahada, the Tawheed, and we're going to work our way up to finding the signs of the hour. And when we get into the signs of the hour, it will be with the right understanding and the right, and not just to entertain. Hey, let me read some, recite some hadiths about the end of times, because people wept when they heard those hadiths. Right. Some people were regretful that they asked the Prophet about those hadiths, but they kept on asking, and he kept on telling them. And so that's why we actually have them. Okay, but let's keep going. All right, so what we have here with the Khawarij is that these are overzealous. They, even though they pray all night, they stand all day, they do not understand the religion, and even though they have all the image, outer image of a Muslim, they actually attack Muslims and fight Muslims. So knowledge, and this brings us to the simple point that knowledge without proper understanding can end in misguidance. And no matter how zealous you are or how outwardly your appearance, if you do not have the right understanding of the religion, you can end up being taken away from the path, being misguided from the path. That was one group. The other group was a group that left the religion. They're called the Rafida, and we're more familiar with them as the Shia. So I will use the word Shiite, but not all Shiite believe badly. There were a group of Shiites. So who's heard the word Shiite before? Okay. So I'm not going to go into, because we don't have enough time to go into the depths of who they are. But ultimately, the Shiite broke apart. They were a group of Muslims who supported Ali, although Ali was already gone by this time. Had he known, had he heard, he would have stopped them. So he wasn't even alive when this occurred. They supported Ali, and they just believed, simply put, that the Caliph, the leaders of Islam, should be the blood descendants of the Prophet. The only problem is the Prophet did not teach that. Right. And the Quran does not support that. Right. And so when that idea came up, the majority of people did not support it. And it was simple as that. They just didn't. But that hardcore group was stuck on that idea. Right. And they broke apart, and the word Shia means like splinter, or it means like a different party. It became a separate party of Islam.
So who did they want to be the leader of the Muslims at that time?
That's a very good question. I actually have the answer to it too. They wanted Hussein. Well, okay. Well, it started like this. It started with Khadija. Aisha. It started with Aisha, honestly. Started with what's called the Battle of the Camel. I'm not gonna go back that far. Don't worry. I'm not gonna take y'all through it. But it was a battle where these Khawarij, they arose as well in this time. But it was the Battle of the Camel came about, and there started to be this debate over who would be the Caliph. Mm-hmm. And it's what I said. One group wants the blood lineage, but the other group just wants to elect. And ultimately, it was Ali and Muawiyah. Muawiyah became him. And then it became Hassan, one of Hussein's, Hassan or Hussein, and Muawiyah. And that's where they were murdered. Hassan died and Hussein was murdered. And from that murder, those people went over towards Iraq and the Shiite developed. So what happened there? What's that all about? A whole religion developed out of a political disagreement.
So you call
what happened
the
there?
Shia a different religion?
Group, sect. they're one of those deviations. There's one religion. All the others end in the hellfire except this one.
The one true.
The one on the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet. That's what he said. These were the Prophet's words.
Mm-hmm.
So how did we end up with the Shia? What happened there? Want to guess?
How did we end up?
Mm-hmm.
For them to go to Iraq and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Sound like it's in that story you was telling about them one blood lineage.
Yep. Pride.
You know, say, yeah, people preference.
Politics.
Yeah, preference.
Money. Power. Authority. No lack of really understanding the religion. There was no accusation. They had hafid. They had fought in the wars. They understood. But they had this love of the power structure that led them to create actual divisions in the religion to where they began to say Abu Bakr. And once people began to curse the Sahaba, we know that we don't curse the Sahaba. And so they began to curse the Sahaba. What does it mean to curse the Sahaba? Meaning they say bad things about the companions of the Prophet, his wives, his cousins, any of those people, they start saying so forth. So understand, in Islam, we get our knowledge through a process. First, we get our knowledge from where? Thank you. Allah, the Quran, Allah's words. Next, we get our knowledge from where? From the Prophet. Beautiful. From the Prophet through the Hadiths. Where did the Hadiths come from?
The companions of the Prophet.
So if I curse the companion and say he was a liar, what is you're cursing the Hadith. You're cursing the Prophet's choice and his. You're cursing people. Allah said this person will be in paradise according to the Prophet's words, like Abu Bakr, for example.
Yeah.
Right. And here, these individuals are calling them kafir. They're calling them hypocrites. Just all kinds of horrible things. Horrible things. You will hear this. So when you hear about, yeah, man, I'm a Shia. Okay, that's a red flag for us because we know that these individuals have cursed the Prophet, and then they elevated Ali to the status of divinity, being the actual, that he was the actual chosen one. There's even a group of them that believe that I think that like Jabril made a mistake if it wasn't supposed to be the Prophet, it was like supposed to be Ali. And how can you go believe in these type of things? Okay, it gets really weird. It gets really weird.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Okay.
The blood lineage.
Procedo.
That's on the Sunnah side also. I mean, like right now, the leaders of Saudi Arabia. That's the blood lineage thing.
Really?
Yes. And this is where we see the corruption.
Yeah.
Right.
We see the corruption.
Yeah.
When I'm corrupt, and I pass it to my corrupt child.
Right.
Yeah.
He keeps it the wealth in the family, and they pass it to theirs at the exclusion
So
of
those
everyone
people-
else.
Or I might not be corrupt, but my child is.
Those leaders in Saudi Arabia are supposed to be relatives of the Prophet.
I don't know, brother. Yeah.
Well, I kind of heard something like that, but
I don't think so. They weren't chosen for
it
that.
might not be. But I mean, it's from their standpoint, wherever it started handing down. You know, it stayed in the family.
Yeah. The man Muhammad said that he told him about that type of government they got there. It's not Islamic.
All right.
Huh?
What is this? There we go. You brought me back to the point. What do we say when we say something is Islamic? What do we mean?
Well, I guess he was speaking about people have a voice in certain, choosing certain things. People can't. One person just can't.
That's right. Consultation. We have consultation in Islam.
Right.
Shura.
Yeah.
We also share. You see, we also divide the wealth. The Prophet always divided the wealth. So the governments that you see today are not reflective of Islam or of Islamic government historically. Okay. So don't when you look at that, you don't see an Islamic actual government. You're just seeing something that was kind of a combination of modern government and old, whatever they had before.
Yeah, greedy people.
Whatever that was.
Yeah, greedy.
Right? But you're not seeing a functional Islamic state.
No.
And the ones that did arise, they were taken out. They were destroyed. Okay.
You know, that's what Jesus was telling. Whatever that's the story when Jesus was talking to Mary Magdalene when she came to him. Supposedly after he had came out of the cave, and he told her, "Don't touch me. You know, I've not yet risen to the fall. Otherwise, I had been cleaned up." So if you touch what you see and believe to be Jesus, you will be touching something corrupt. That's gonna be man Muhammad.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So here we go. We're gonna round it up. We're almost on our time. I did start. The last thing I wanted to point out before we so what we talked about today was the importance of correct belief and how groups that did not have correct belief, they just strayed and they created huge schisms amongst the people. It starts off with one individual. Remember, the prophet pointed that man, and he said, "From this man there will arise a group of people who will make your worship look bad."
Right.
This is the prophet sitting amongst his people, talking to them and saying, "He gonna make y'all think y'all are worshiping. Wait till you see these people that are coming behind this man."
Yeah.
Okay. 30 or so years later, we had to do the math. Here they are. They're that people. They're advocating killing. In fact, the Khawarij are the ones who assassinated Ali, and they assassinated Ali because he wouldn't do what they wanted him to do.
Oh, wow.
The Khawarij led to the assassination of, not the Shiite. The Shiite certainly didn't, because they thought he should be the Caliph.
Right.
So they didn't assassinate him, and they came later after him. But the Khawarij led to the assassination of Ali. Okay, so ignorance of the foundational beliefs of Islam, the proper understanding of the religion, where they had the words, but they didn't have, and this is what Imam Muhammad, he challenges us to begin learning the Arabic. That's why I'm so proud of this group of people, these brothers and sisters here. You guys are doing so good. Coming and trying to make an effort to learn the Arabic is really important, because at least minimum, if someone tells you something crazy, like a man could beat a woman, you know, your husband could beat you. It says in the Quran that a man should beat her. Doesn't it say something like that, brother? Yeah. You can go in the book. What? That sounds weird. I don't care how. Beat me lightly, beat me heavy, any kind of beating, brother. You can go in and you can look. Am I wrong? You can look for yourself.
Yeah. Right.
Because we understand that interpretation of the verse is not actually correct. It's not fully correct.
Correct, right.
Okay? There's other ways, meaning the word daraba can mean chastise. You can chastise a person, and you felt like you got beat. And you felt like you might even want him to get you. Could you just hit me and stop saying those things to me? Just get it over with. SubhanAllah. But chastise is another interpretation. So in the modern world, where you better not spank your child, you better not put your hand on another person.
Right.
We can't keep translating things in ways that are going to send people to prison. All right, or give them an excuse for bad behavior. Because let me ask you a question. If that means beat your wife, tell me how many times the Prophet beat his 13 different wives, 12 different wives. Anybody? How many times did he beat any of his wives?
0.
Thank you. It's just 9-0. And how did she know that? Because she better not put your hands on me. The Prophet didn't never put his hands on his wife, and that's a real thing, right?
Right.
So, okay. Also, following causes of deviation. What caused the people to deviate from the truth? Following personalities instead of principles. Oh. Following strong-willed individuals that got voices and people will listen. Yeah. Influential people, rather than following what you know is the truth. If you know it's wrong to hurt other believers, or if you know it's wrong to do X, Y, Z to people, yet for some reason, here we are doing it. Yeah. That's a problem. The intellect, so going back to, whenever we have a problem to solve or a question to answer, we first refer to Allah, the Quran. We next refer to the Prophet.
Right.
After the Prophet, we look at those people who are around him, called the companions. Right. For Christian people, we call these the disciples. Yeah. There was 12, and then there was 74. They have the same thing. The Christians have a similar system. The disciples, they look at the disciples, they read the letters written by Paul, the letters written by the different Timothy, James. They do the same thing. And so we look at the Sahaba. And after the Sahaba, then you have those later scholars, Imam Bukhari, we read the Hadith of Bukhari. Those are the things, these books we got. This is a 1,000-year-old book. Really? It's 1,000 years old. A 1,000-year-old book. But with that said, we're not living 1,000 years ago, and this is the importance of Imam Muhammad. This is the importance of this masjid, Masjid New Africa. We're not living 1,000 years ago, but Islam is still practical and applicable today. So how are you going to utilize your intellect to not make these same deviations and get down that straight path?
Right.
That's the challenge that I lay before you, I lay before myself.
Yes, sir.
And to step up to the challenge, let's first start with the right understanding of the matter. So we're going to have this breakdown of the hadith of Jibreel. What is Islam? What is Iman? What is Ihsan? And what are the signs of the hour? And that's where we're going to discuss what we had mentioned about the signs of the hour. But notice how he put it very last and he put the other stuff first.
Right.
And so I said, you know what? Let me take the right approach rather than just jumping to the end of it. Let's take more of a. We have time. We have Ramadan coming, and I think going through the essential aqeedah, the essentials beliefs of the Muslim, the proper beliefs. As from Quran, we'll have our guest lecturers come and our teachers here, and we'll be well prepared going into Ramadan with a fresh fresh outlook on our deen.
Right.
Inshallah. Those are my thoughts. That's my proposal to the group.
Yes,
if you guys like that idea, I love it. We'll do that. And then after Ramadan, Ramadan's going to be great, inshallah. And after Ramadan, I was thinking we could do something like maybe the year of the prophet or whatnot, where we go through the seerah, starting from the beginning and the end of his life.
That sounds beautiful.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work, bro. No, we got to stay busy.
Yeah.
We got to stay busy. So those are my proposals, just some thoughts you can look forward to thinking about and begin catching up.
What about during Ramadan?
Well, during Ramadan is during Ramadan, but we pray, we fast, and we have Tawheed at night.
Yeah.
We have Tawheed at night, so we're gonna teach. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna do some. We ain't gonna stop teaching. We're gonna bear it, but it'll be Ramadan focused topics. Okay. So with that, are there any questions, any thoughts, brother Lee? Would you like to give us thoughts, ideas, perspective?
Well, like I said, one of the solutions, I guess, again, is working on our sincerity. And again, working on our sincerity and again, and our love and loyalty for Allah. So we won't be able to deviate like them brothers did in the back. So that's the goal. We should all be working for.
Let me give you some ideas of the things we deal with real quick. So sometimes in life, we come up against things such as horoscopes. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Good luck, bad luck. Hey, man, that's bad luck. Don't do that. Hey, I saw someone, the lady at the owner of the house was sweeping my wife's feet the other day. I was about to scream. Did you see her sweep your feet? Stop myself. Get over it. Grow up.
Pick up shit on and all that stuff.
She didn't notice it, but yeah, she was sweeping my wife's feet. But subhanallah. Tarot cards, suits. What do we call those people? My sister told me a while back. I went and saw a psychic.
Yeah. What about some people put the hex on you so you can see?
Psychic witchcraft. Yeah. Online based witchcraft. Now really weird stuff.
Fortune tellers.
Okay, so these are things we come in contact with that affects our aqeedah.
Yes.
It affects our essential belief system. We become Christians instead of Muslims. What is a Christian? It's a Muslim with Christian beliefs. It's okay. It's not okay. I'm just saying it's okay in the sense of that happens. People are like, huh?
What kind of
Muslim with Christian beliefs?
Right.
I believe in the horoscope. I still do Christmas. I still do Thanksgiving.
Stuff like
I still do. I still believe that you all say he didn't die on the cross, but in my heart, I still believe he did. Because what? Because I don't have proper aqeedah. Right. I'm not tied on to the right understanding of the matter, and that's all it is. It's not because I'm not sincere what the brother said.
Right.
We have sincerity. You can have all the sincerity, but if you don't have the right knowledge and understanding,
Right.
and some of us just jumped into the religion and we didn't take time to learn the religion. You know, like some of us know a little bit of Arabic, but we didn't take time to take a class and know it in the right, all the aspects of it. We're missing something here and there. We're scratching the surface, and we just scratched the surface. I saw that with Rise with the Prophet. We just scratched the surface. We only talked like 45 minutes. Yes, Sister Diane.
I was just thinking about how people don't like change, and a lot of cultures they still be talking about voodoo in different countries. They still to the day because they don't. It's like a culture to them.
Yes. Yes, it is. And with the internet, they're sharing it all over the world.
Yes.
So now what may have been local is now spread, and people are picking up these ideas, including Muslims.
Yeah.
Including Muslims. And even if you're not doing it intentionally, subconsciously, sometimes it's still settling in our heads. So making sure we have how about qadr, destiny, freedom of choice versus what Allah prescribes. We say for the good or the bad. Some of us only want the good of it. And when the bad comes,
We don't want it.
Not just that we don't want it, we deviate. It puts so much stress on us that we go a whole different direction. Then getting stronger in our religion, it can take us out of it. So we're going to talk a lot about those things. We're going to talk about the judgment, the Antichrist, the Dajjal, inshallah. Okay, so we'll stop there. I thank you all for your patience.
Yes,
wonderful.
Thank you, bro.
I love to come and be here and teach and learn with all you brothers
We
and
love to
sisters.
learn too, bro.
I thank you for your patience and tolerance. Let's go ahead and close with a dua, inshallah. And we'll make salat. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتوسوا بالحق وتوسوا بالصبر. By the token of time and through the ages, indeed, man is at loss, except such as has faith and does righteous deeds and joins together in the mutual teachings of truth and of patience and of constancy. Ameen.
Ameen.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother Imam.
No problem.
Thank you very, very much, brother. Bringing that inspirational lesson today. This is
There's some whites in there.
Yeah.
There they go. To your left.
all right.
Sister Joy, you didn't have any questions today. I'm surprised.
Yeah, but
I won't mess with your day.
he said
That's
you
okay.
surprised.
I just had to acknowledge you. That's all.
Like you have questions all the time.
She gonna surprise you one day.
Oh, she surprised me a lot. I did not see.
The air conditioner works.
Yeah,
the air conditioner.
Believe it, sister. We believe it.
Y'all trying to get us out of this cold air.
That was your husband did that.
Well, you just got to put it on the normal set. Like
Huh?
75. 75.
I was gonna give you a jacket.
Brother, you just put it on 7. You should put it on 74.